This year, I'm turning 70. We're having a big party in November 14th. Put it on your calendar. Our Divine Groove has said they're going to play, so, for my party, so it should be a lot of fun. Friday evening. What? Yeah. New 50. It feels like 70. So, I've learned a few things living 70 years on this planet. There's a couple of things that have come to me around my experience in life. And the most inspiring thing I have for you is life is hard. It is. Life is hard. You know, I hear people talk, oh, if I only got, some ease and grace. And it's like, well, good luck with that. We get our moments of it, right? There are moments of it. But for the most part, life is hard. I had an early teacher tell me, you have two choices in life. You get to choose your hard, or life will choose it for you. So I prefer choosing it myself, right? I choose large goals, big game. I'm a big game hunter. In many ways I am, always have been, shooting for the stars. Shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you're up among the stars, But living that way, I've experienced a tremendous amount of crash and burn. I think I've mentioned I've been fired over 60 times. I've been dragged under a motorcycle about 50 feet. I've fallen off mountains. I've been in 32 car accidents. Well, I've had 3 concussions. So the fact that my body hurts every day, I earned that. I worked really hard to have my body this way and continue to do so. I woke up this morning, I was in the shower actually. I'm in the shower and I reached for the soap and there's this big bruise on my hand. I don't even know how it got there. You read the news, today's news. 59 people died in a nightclub fire. There was another 40 that died doing something else. I don't remember at the moment what it was. Trump is obviously doing what Trump's doing. And there are lots of folks who think the world is, hell in a handbasket and stuff like that. It's hard. However you see it, whatever's going on, there's hard. And so what is it, how are you being with this hard? And so, because ease and grace, I don't know nothing about that, except for moments. You get your moments. You definitely get your moments. But what I have learned through going through all this is don't fight it. We have a saying in our movement, what you resist persists. And so I do know that those who resist, I know the times I have resisted, right, hard, has been my biggest crash and burns. When you resist it, when instead of going, okay, this is surfing time. This is where we get to learn how to navigate, right? And then you get to play bigger game, because the better you get at navigation, the easier it gets then to overlay it over whatever game it is you want to play in life. And you get to pick. You do get to pick. What game do you want to play? And if you don't, life is going to come up with its own game plan for you. Have you noticed that? Like I said, one of my earliest teachers says, pick a big game, because it's the best way to then you're picking the hard instead of life coming and throwing it in your face, because we're not here just to sit on a beach. I mean, maybe some people are. I don't know. I've never met anybody like that. I've met a lot of rich people. I've met a lot of famous people. None of them have it easy. Nobody I've met so far. They're all struggling in their own way. They've picked their hard. And so, there's something to our being powerful, creative, spiritual beings, but that doesn't mean you get to have it easy. But it does mean you get to choose your way you want to be in this life, with all that's happening on the news, with all that's happening in your world, with your kids, with your parents, with the ones you love, your dear loved ones, with your pets, whatever, your closest friends. There's stuff going on there, and how you decide to be with that, how open-hearted you are, how you walk into those circumstances to be with that. That's what makes the difference, and that's where your power is. And it does change it, right? So you don't experience the hard in the same way you might have if you're taking it personal, if you're holding it as a burden, if you're carrying around the burdens of the world. Your back's going to hurt, your body's going to hurt. The more you get to let that stuff go, unless you've just banged it up like crazy like I have, and then it's going to hurt anyway. But I don't mind. The thing about it is, I can't remember. I think the last time I was pain-free, I was 6. I don't mind because I look over my 70 years and I go, I've lived large. I've done incredible stuff. I've been to places, and I climbed this pyramid down in Mexico. I think it was, Mexico. That was so steep that you get to and I was afraid of heights at the time. I had not gotten over my acrophobia yet, and I did it anyway, and got to and I was shaking the whole time. I mean, I've jumped out of there. Well, I didn't jump. I was kind of like connected to this guy, and we wound up out of an airplane. But you go and you do all this stuff, and it's not always going to work out. And so that's how it goes. And so how are you with that? What did you learn? I've talked about the open-hearted and the closed-hearted lessons. I've done my best in 70 years to make sure that even if in the past I took the closed-hearted lesson because I was too young to recognize the difference, that now I'm looking back on it and going, okay, what was the open-hearted lesson? Because it's never too late. It's not like whatever lesson you got then that's that, right? What I've learned is over 70 years, I get to look back and go, what was the real lesson there? What can I learn from that now? I look over a lot of the times I was fired and what didn't work out, and I was like, they just fired me because I didn't quit, but I didn't belong there. That wasn't mine to do, right? Because a part of the discovery of over these 70 years that I've made is what is mine to do. And it's not like it's always been the same. There was a time I was certain that what was mine to do was to be a rock and roll star. And I went into that business, and my son was just saying the other day how he's never seen me do anything half-assed. He says, everything you've ever done, Dad, you've just thrown yourself into full out. I think he took some of the wrong lessons from that, but that's a different story. But that's his journey. But so I went through all this stuff in the music business. I was down on Wall Street. I was a stockbroker who got to work right on Wall Street in the midst of a crazy time of all these tiny companies, or I should say whatever size companies they were. What we were releasing was what was called penny stocks. It was the era of the penny stocks. And it was extraordinary to see all that, to be in the midst of all that, and make money, lose money, and all the things that go with that. To make a ton of money on different things I've done, and then find out that they didn't bring me any happiness at all. I mean, not at all. And so discovering what really makes you happy. Right? Getting to the heart of, when you live 70 years, man, you really get to see a lot. I'm not the only one in here who's at this age who knows this. You live this age, you get to see a lot of life, and it changes all the time. If there's one thing I want to bring to you about 70 years is whatever you think life is, it will change. Whatever you hold as important and matter today will change. It's still changing for me. And that's the beauty of it. If you learn to travel in the change, to travel in it, to be with it, all the things that go on and the changes that occur, if you learn how to, okay, this is what's happening now. Okay, this is what's happening now. And you learn to just be with that and be in it. Then you walk away from those experiences saying, I was in there fully. I did that 100%. I was there for that. I didn't skate it. I didn't try to bypass. I was in with it. And it feels really good. Even if it hurts a little, It feels good. The one thing I've noticed about turning 70 is I feel really good about how I've lived. And I didn't always do it so well. But I'm okay with that because it turned out pretty good for me. I'm really happy now about all the things I went through and how it gave me the experiences it did to be who I am now. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, that goes on in your life that isn't serving you to grow who you are so that the being you continually grow into is more. You become this more if you let it. Or because you've only got two choices when you have an experience, right? It shuts you down or it opens you up. That's it. That's all you got. You have an experience, it's either shutting you down or it's opening you up. If you let it open you up, you get to experience a deeper sense of life. That's what I've learned. I get to experience a deeper and deeper sense of life with everything that goes on. Does that mean that I don't experience frustration? No, just yesterday. Let me go back a little bit. So you all know about that my wife is putting on this show. It's going to be this incredible show, and she asked me to film it. And then I got the bright idea that since I was filming it, why don't we live stream it so people who are not in the area could watch her doing this show? And Ash is like, that's a great idea. And everybody's like, that's a great idea. And now I got to figure out how to do that. And so for the second time, I come in with my film. I got all this, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, I have a degree, I have a bachelor's degree in filmmaking, and when we were in Burbank, made 40 short films. And two of them, and several of them made it into festivals, and one of them actually won an award. So we did pretty good with our short films that we made there, and I got pretty good at writing scripts and filmmaking, and I had this great actress to star in pretty much all of them. So that worked out. And so I have all this very fancy film gear. And so I brought it in, and I'm running these tests, and at the same time, so I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone, And so I come in, and I'm also printing out on our printer the third term for the practitioner class, about 200 pages. That printer in there can only print 20 pages at a time before it crashes. Regularly, and so I'm in charge of finding us a new printer. So it's nobody else, it's on me that I haven't done this, found us the new printer. So I've got this printer in there who's breaking down about every 30 to 50 pages that I got to figure out, pull the thing out. So I'm dealing with that as I'm trying to figure out how to live stream. Why am I telling you all this? Because frustration happens, right? So I'm dealing with this, and every time I come in here to print for another term, I remember this printer frustrates me. I really need to get it replaced, and then because I only have a term every 4 months, then completely forget about it until the next time I'm in here and I'm looking at it. Am I the only one this happens to? And then I'm like, yes. I'm looking at the printer again going, oh yeah, if I just replaced this thing, I would be less frustrated by it. Anyway, so I'm in here, and I'm trying to get the live streaming to work, and I'm doing test after test after test, and there's this glitch that happens. It's just glitching every 3 minutes. Incredibly frustrating for anybody who is trying to watch the stream. And so I'm trying this to fix it. I'm trying that to fix it. I am racking my brain around this. 6 hours. I was here 6 hours doing this yesterday. Right? While I'm trying to print also for the class, which actually took 4 hours to print 200 pages. And I could feel myself, and I'm going, oh, God. So I'm going to leave this story for a second, leave you there, and bring you back a little bit more, because I think it was that morning or Friday morning I had this incredible, no, it was Friday. I had this incredible meditation. Because I had just seen a video on olive trees. Turns out that olive trees are the oldest tree on the planet. They average about 35 to 4,000 to 5,000 years old. And they grow incredibly slow. So I was shown this one sapling, and the lady who's doing the thing goes, this is 1,000 years old, and it's a sapling, right? And what she was saying is you can do anything to this olive tree. You can cut it down, you can burn it, you can beat it with a stick. You can do anything to it. It's going to grow back because the roots are so powerful that no matter what you do with what's above what you can see, it will grow back. And so I'm meditating on this, be in that root, right? And that got me thinking about how aspen trees, right? One root for an entire forest, which got me thinking about the earth and how the earth is our root. You know, we have this mystical thing about us all being one, but it's not mystical. We are all growing out of the same root called planet Earth. We really are one. It's not some fanciful idea. It's not some mystical thought. We actually really are this, right? So I'm deep in this feelings of oneness from this place of, and then the earth comes out of the root of the sun. The earth wouldn't exist if it hadn't come out of the sun. The sun wouldn't exist if it didn't come out of the galaxy. The galaxy wouldn't exist if it didn't come out of the universe. So there's a real physicality to this oneness that we talk about here. And I'm just like, and of course we all know this, but I hadn't, it's not something I think about all the time. And so I'm sitting there just meditating and just getting, wow, we really are this. Let me just strengthen this root. And I walked out of that meditation, came out of that meditation thinking, oh my God, I'm the most powerful person on the planet now. I am rooted in the universe. Oh, and then the last thing that popped up was how this is the funniest thing ever. Well, to me anyway. So I'm in this deep meditation, right? And then what pops up before my eyes is my tax return and how I had written the wrong number in the wrong place and filed it incorrectly. And I was like, oh! So I jump up, and it was definitely Friday, and I go in, and the first thing I do is fix it and refile the taxes. It was no big deal. I got that done quickly. But it was just funny that that's what popped up during this deep meditation, right? Is my tax return and how I had made a mistake on it. And I just thought about that, and I thought, well, isn't that how it works? If we get really deep-rooted, our life, because we have this real life we're living, It's really nice that I'm sitting in this oneness place, and I was digging it. I'm not saying I didn't. I loved it. I'm in this deep place of oneness, and I'm just getting so off of it. And then, poof, my tax return. And so, running into my office, and I fixed that. And then Saturday comes along, and now fast forward to me working on this glitch that's happening in the thing. And I'm standing there going, how do I use that incredible experience I had yesterday now of that oneness? How is that applying to the fact that I am ready to break my camera into a million little pieces? Or am I the only one who's felt that way? And so I'm sitting there with that, and I'm sitting there with it, and then I remember I got to call Enid about something else, and so I get on the phone, and Enid, and that broke it, right? That broke the frustration, was simply taking it, going to another place with it, and I realized this is what surfing is right? If you're really stuck in this place, shift the energy, man. Just shift it. Do something else. Walk away. You can always, and as I got off the phone with Enid, I was feeling much better, and I got back to what it was I was doing, and it, like I said, it took 6 hours, so it was a lot longer and going on, but I could approach it with breath, and I could approach it with the idea. Now all of a sudden I'm starting to think about that rooting, and I'm holding that rooting, and it's helping me get through. Let's try the next thing. Let's try the next thing. 6 hours. And I got it, right? It finally was like, boom, and there was no glitch. It worked beautifully, but I was exhausted. So the first thing I did after Ash picked me up and we put all the equipment away was I went for a walk, because that's what I love to do. That is the heart of my spiritual practice. I just didn't care about the weather. It was snowing. I was walking. So I took this walk out and just kept deep breathing in, and then came back and then watched something funny, because I love humor, right? So the next thing I did was watch something funny. And then Ash was kind enough to make me dinner. She made this perfect dinner. And so step by step, I felt myself starting breathing back into this life, because we have these moments of incredible frustration. Or am I the only one? And then how are we with that? How do we move through that? How do we breathe through these real experiences of life? How do you breathe through the news when you're reading them? I do not avoid the news. I've told you this before, because I don't want to avoid anything in life. I want to feel it all, but I want to feel it from that place of knowing that this somehow serves me, that this somehow serves life itself, because if it serves me and I want to contribute to life, then it must somehow serve life. And I don't have to know the answer. Another thing I know after 70 years is I don't need to know the answer. I need to trust that it's going to show up when it does. And it's not mine to push. Life is not a sprint. It's a marathon. But if we treat it like a sprint, we're going to get burnt out, frustrated, upset, and all those things you get to feel that really don't feel all that great. Life is hard, but we don't have to feel it as something that brings us down. We can feel it as something that builds us up. I feel stronger from yesterday. Having gone through all that, I feel stronger. I feel triumphant. But not just from yesterday. I was thinking on my way over here today that I actually feel triumphant about my life. And that you get to feel that way if you've lived it in a full, good way. Given your all. Fired over 60 times. I've had businesses fail. I've had businesses succeed. I've had all kinds of experiences in life, and through it all, I feel triumphant. And that's what I want for you. I want you to feel that sense of awe and wonder about what's possible, so that when you're 70, 80, 90, you look back and you go, I gave it my all, and that's what mattered. Not actually how it showed up, because it's going to show up different for all of us. Your adventure is not my adventure. My adventure is not yours. But the deeper we get in to what is true for each and every one of us, for what is true for you and for you, this is an extraordinary gift we're giving. It's an extraordinary gift. Every time we have an obstacle before us, I saw this morning, the incredible gift I was given yesterday by everything I went through as an opportunity for me to grow. The more you can see it like that, the more life's wondrousness shows up for you. Thank you. I love you.